Good evening, everybody. I'm Sonia, and I am coming to you from Florida. It is the full moon night, and I wanted to share some full moon rituals with you. Now, I'm going to tell you what I do. So, for many, many years, as the full moon draws near, I reflect on the full moon, and I really think about the full moon's geographic and scientific properties. And so I want to share some of those with you, right? So when people talk about full moon rituals, there's often this feeling of like, oh, is that a little bit pagan? But it's not. The full moon is when the moon is closer to the earth, right? It's not a perfect circle, it's elliptical, right? And when the moon is closer to the earth, we see a full moon. And when it's really close, we see a supermoon, which means it's about 7% bigger and 15% brighter. The moon just feels so incredibly magical on those supermoon nights. And the moon gives us vitamin D. So it's just like the sun. The moon is just a reflection. It's like a mirror reflecting the sun's light and energy. So we have more of that gorgeous energy. It also gives us nitric oxide, which is very good for blood pressure. So it's healing, it's good for us. So just as people sunbathe, there are people around the world who moonbathe or dance under the moonlight and the stars. And it makes you feel really connected to this planet that we are all a part of. It makes you feel this enormous gratitude, this feeling of beyond thoughts and socialization and indoctrination. We are just being, right? It's so beautiful. And I always feel in awe of the moon. And if I'm indoors, I'll stand at a window and gaze out. If it's a beautiful evening, I will take a walk, and I feel this incredible energy. And physically, I feel like my body just expands a little bit, like I swell. And a lot of women go into labor on the full moon who have not been induced, right? And I hadn't ever looked at mine. So I went looking, when was Mika born, and I started to look, and I found out that I went into labor on the full moon, which blew my mind. A lot of midwives and hospitals will say that there is a baby rush on the full moon night. And I thought about that feeling of swelling in the body, and the waters would swell and then break as well, just like the tides in the ocean. And obviously we're 75% water, which goes up when carrying a baby. The other thing that I found interesting was that gardeners use the lunar calendar to plant seeds and to harvest. And farmers would pick all their crops on the full moon, because it would literally, the fruit would weigh more, like the water would swell, they would just suck in more water. And it's said that on the full moon, the earth inhales, so everything is bigger and expands. And as the moon wanes, it all contracts again. And so farmers use this to know when to plant seeds. And it's really quite a big deal. And there are lots of wonderful legends and myths about things that you should do. And I was telling my 7-year-old daughter that back in the day, way back in the day, if you spoke like this, or if you even stood in awe of the moon, you could be burnt at the stake for being a witch, which I think is just absolute madness. Because just like you would stand in front of a beautiful chi-filled tree and look at its glory and be like, wow, it blows my mind that I live on this beautiful planet, and look at the moon and look at the sun and feel this energy that you're part of, and that you might actually get into trouble for that, like be burned because you're a witch, is just blows my mind. But I went looking into some of the myths or these fears that certain sectors and religions have. And I also found wonderful things in the Bible about the moon. And I think it's Corinthians, where it's God created two lights above, one to light the day, one to light the night, and a silvery needled sky. And it's beautiful. I'm paraphrasing there. So for anybody who knows this piece in Corinthians, I know that wasn't perfect, but basically that's what it said. And I love that in Judaism, they use the moon for celebrating. Passover is one, and the festival of Tabernacle is another one. And I'm sure there are many, many more. And you know, in Hindu cultures, they use the moon. We all use the moon. And we celebrate Easter the first Sunday after the spring equinox, right? It's that full moon, and it's all based on the moon. Isn't that amazing? So we're already so deeply connected to the lunar calendar. And no, it's not lunacy. That lunacy word is a Latin word. And yes, it comes from the moon. And lunacy and lunatic, all those words were coined because of the craziness of that moon energy, right? So it's lighter and brighter through the night. People would stay up longer. They would celebrate more. And so that energy had to go somewhere. And that was where it came from. Moon is such a beautiful part of our universe. It governs our seasons. All the sea life, you know, there's coral spawning massively, and it's documented how it waits for those full moons. Sea life governed by the full moons, and all of this universe and planet uses the lunar calendar. Always interesting. No, I don't have all the science. I don't have all the geography. I don't have all of that. I know about the moon because it interests me. So I read about it and I speak to people about it. But what I do have is a very, very powerful feeling and connection to it. And for me, feeling is everything. And it's something that we've lost touch with. When we concentrated on this crazy amount of education, we lost our ability to sense and to feel. Everything is theorized. We even intellectualize feelings that we're meant to feel. And there's something quite beautiful about the moon. It brings this heightened feeling even to animals, right? So animals start to, their senses are heightened and they can hear things and they can smell things. And, you know, you get those pictures of the wolf howling at the moon. But I wanted to talk about things that we can do at home at this time to get us in touch with that spiritual side and really connect. We are all spirits living in our shells, in our human body houses, right? And we sometimes forget that we are powerful spiritual beings living in these shells. Little genies I often think of in a little body lamp. And when we wake up and we realize how incredibly huge we are, I think we'd even scare ourselves. And so on nights like the full moon, where the body is swollen anyway, and we feel like we are so in tune or a little bit more, and if you don't feel that, you only need to drop in and close your eyes and take a deep breath. Sip the life energy into your body and feel it like a waterfall just trickling down to your toes. Feel into your body. And then once you've done that and you've taken a few really nourishing, connected, deep breaths, start to journal. And I would recommend that you start with gratitude. What has filled you this month? What has filled you this moon cycle? What has made you feel so in love with life? And if you think you don't have anything, I would say start at the very base. You can start with how much you love your own bed, how cozy it is. Start with how grateful you are that your body works, your hands work, your fingers work. Start with how grateful you are for the love that you feel for your children, for your husband, for your family. You can start with focusing on what is beautiful about this world, focusing on the kindnesses. So don't focus on, there is no kindness. Find the kindnesses, find the gentle, find the soul, and connect with that. Write it out. Just say thank you for the pen and paper you're writing on. feel into everything, that it just becomes this beautiful gratitude, tactilian experience. And then after that, I would recommend you make a list of the things that no longer fit into the fullness of you. So, what no longer fits? What no longer works for you? Maybe you really want to let go of this inner critic that is always there. Maybe you really want to let go of this feeling of not good enough, or are always feeling like you're not reaching your financial goals, or the things that you so desire in your life. So write those down. They're real and people feel them. You must write them down, and you are not alone. I guarantee you, as you write your stuff down, there will be thousands, if they're doing this, writing their stuff down, and it will look very similar to yours. Right? So think about it. Think about those things you no longer want. Now, I recommend that once you've done that, you fold it up and you say a prayer, even to the things that you feel like, why should I thank those things? Nothing in your life experience is there because it's just random extra on the side. Let me just give you an extra dose of not good enough. Yeah, that feeling's good, a little bit of limitation. Nothing is there for nothing. Everything was trying to teach you something, or to serve a purpose, or to help you grow in one way. And sometimes we have to turn around and be grateful for the lessons of life, the hard knocks, right? So you just say thank you, and I'm ready to let them go. Thank you, and I'm ready to let them go. Thank you for all the abundance in my life. I am ready to let this go. And then you take those papers, maybe tear them up into little pieces. That's what I do. And you burn them. And you can either burn them under the moon, outside, if that's a possibility. And if it's not, you can take a bowl in your kitchen sink and you can open the window and look out at the moon, and you can burn them in that bowl. And you can just feel into the ritual of that. You let go of what you don't need, and you know that you are abundant, and you breathe in that feeling of fullness with the moon. And so you use it. The other part that I love is just the fact that you're recognizing the house, the planet, the home that you live on, planet Earth. And you recognize that there's a moon up in the sky. And you recognize that she is beautiful, and she's huge, and she's a super moon. All the plants and the wildlife are being affected in ways that we don't even know yet. And we're being affected. And we are tuning into the biorhythms of this planet. That connection alone opens your heart, and that beautiful connection, like an umbilical cord to Mother Earth, is reawakened. And you feel alive, and you feel spiritual, and it just rises up inside of you. This energy of like, this earth is my home, and I belong here, and I came here for a reason, and I have a journey, a life. I have purpose. There are things I need to do here, and I'm going to help so many people, because that's what you doing you in its fullest, in its complete authenticity, will do. The moment you live to your fullest potential and you rise up and you say, I'm going to be the best me I'm going to be. I'm going to strip away all that keeps me from being me. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be real. I'm going to walk the path of realness. And I don't care who or what people say about that fact. I don't care. I am just going to live and do me, and this is my life journey, and no one is going to take that from me. And the moment I step into that authentic place, into that beautiful, amazing, divine energy, I'm going to help others, because it's that energy that sets off the spark in other people. You being you is a gift to the world. And using the full moon's energy to wake that up in you, to just sit and bask in front of it and be in awe of the full moon, to write out the gratitude, to write out the things that no longer work, to literally connect back to earth. That's what this can be for you. And so I wanted to share that. And I hope that this little conversation that you and I are having tonight has inspired you in some way to go and reconnect with your mama, Mother Earth, and this house that you live in. Touch the deepest part of your own existence and your spirit energy. All right, so I send you so much love tonight. Sweetest, sweetest blessings. Send me a message. Let me know what you've decided to do, how you've decided to connect and celebrate and enjoy this beautiful time. Namaste, my friends. Until next time, I wish you a beautiful full moon, spiritual, divine experience. Good night.